Welcome to this week's episode of The Providers. I got Steve hanging out with me back here in the studio. This week, we got a couple fun topics. Steve is bringing up the success rate and what can lead to success while we're out in the woods. Preparation, what we do after we make shots, some good info on that. And then what I was thinking for this week is basically tree stand locations. Why do we pick the spots that we pick, and what makes them successful? And then we've got our viewer question this week about our favorite times of the year to hunt, and you might be surprised that we land pretty darn close to each other on this one. So it's going to be a fun episode. Hang out with us. Enjoy the show.
Nothing cures a troubled mind like leaving boot prints in the mud. As that crisp morning air stands up your neck of hair and your adrenaline starts to flood. When you're a provider, you understand the things the woods can do. How you can lose yourself in the things that you love, but you can find yourself in them too. Yeah, with a hard hunting, freeze a fair land providers. Yeah, with a hard hunting, freeze a fair land providers.
Well, on this week's episode, we got some fun stuff to cover. You know, I was trying to think of where I wanted to go here, being the first week of the season, and I think number one, I got to give you a public land trail camera update.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Remember, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about my camera that I put out in my super secluded spot, like a mile and a half off the road, right?
Right.
And then you were like, I wonder if you're going to get any pictures of deer, giving me all kinds of crap. So I did get, very consistently, I'm getting a little 6-point.
Okay.
The other night, and this is one picture, I did have a beautiful 10-point come down in the creek bottom. I was like, all right, nice. So yesterday it went off, and I was like, sweet, here we go. And it was a very nice gentleman looking directly at my camera and then continuing. Then about 45 minutes after that, it was a picture of the same guy walking back out the same trail that I had walked in and out on. So yet again, I am at a spot on my public land scouting journey that I am not the only person that I thought was in that certain location. So probably go pull that camera here pretty quick if you want to go drop me off alongside the highway.
Well, if you're not out there on the same day as he is, it might work out.
Right.
But,
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if I saw that 10-point again, because he was a pretty good deer. So what I was thinking about for this week is like actual hunting scenarios. So I was thinking about like each of my tree stands. So I don't know, how many tree stands do you have preset ready to go here in Michigan?
say 8.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm probably pretty close to the same boat as you. But what I was trying to do is I was thinking of each one, and then I was trying to think, why do I have it in that spot?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it comes down to, and I've made a change over the past probably 5 years, where I now look for natural breaks in habitat. So it used to be I wanted to hunt up towards the edge of a field or whatever. I wanted to have a view. Like, I didn't care if, to me, a successful hunt wasn't if I killed a deer. It was if I saw 35 deer. You know what I mean? So if I could sit over a huge open field and see 35 deer that are a quarter of a mile away from me, I was like, oh, this is sweet. That's a good hunt, you know?
Right.
And then if you got a chance at something, then it was great. But the past couple of years, I've started to focus more on these natural habitat breaks, which essentially, like, put yourself in the woods. So you're not on the edge of the woods, you're in the woods, right? And it could be, you know, a wet area with some cattails that then the cattails stop and it leads into like an oak ridge. And I, not just from what I've seen, for a lot of what I've listened to and studied on this, is that's where bucks tend to like to cruise because it's their way to help find does, right? So a lot of my spots now are in the woods where maybe I can't see quite as far,
Mhm.
Sometimes I can't see more than 20 yards, which the hunt's not necessarily the most fun. But I have found I see a lot more mature bucks than I did prior to that. So I was thinking, the edges like that, like I just gave the example of with the, you know, like you're coming out of a swamp leading up to an oak ridge, or if you've got like a row of cedars, or even like one of my spots, I've got a ton of autumn olive out there, like that real dense brush.
Mhm.
But then right on the edge of that dense brush is more of an open wooded area. Well, I feel like now that I've learned more about this, how many times do you really see a buck walking through a huge mature woods that has no undercover?
Right. Right.
It's
Way
rare.
out
I
in the
mean,
open, right.
maybe in the middle of the rut you catch them cruising it, but you just don't see them out in the open like that. So I have found that I like to tuck myself in more. Field edges aren't bad, but I feel like if you're going to hunt a field edge, you're going to want to do it when the deer want to be eating out of that field. So again, we just talked about beans coming off. If the beans are gone, do the deer really want to go out in the middle of a wide open bean field? It's like standing in the middle of a Walmart parking lot for them. So I like to think of things like that. Like when you think of your stands, why do you have stands in the spots that you have stands?
Time out. We got to go back just a little bit, because who am I talking to right now? Because you've evolved into something way different, because you just said you like to tuck yourself in.
Yeah. The past couple of years, and it's been way more beneficial.
You used to cut down the whole forest because you might have a shot in a
Uh-oh.
particular direction.
I still
Have you
cut
gotten away-
shooting lanes.
Okay,
Don't
all
get
right.
me wrong.
I was gonna say, good Lord.
I cut shooting lanes. They're just they're in a different spot in the woods now. If I'm gonna hollow out the woods, it's gonna be under my terms, not because that's how it's grown.
You're like, that tree's got to go. That bridge got to
Yeah.
go.
And Steve's like, that
Do
tree's.
you have any cover left?
Steve's like, that.
Don't worry about it.
That tree's 2 feet in diameter. I'm like, I don't care. Get out your little handsaw and start cutting, baby. That story reminds me. Why do we have to have a Ron story on every hunt
Oh boy.
or every show? We're cutting down trees because Ron and I were determined that this little tiny tree was going to be the deal breaker of the hunt. When in reality, we probably could have shot a deer either 4 inches to the left of the tree or 4 inches to the right. But we get down at the end of a hunt. It's quite a few years back, and Ron takes out his little hand saw.
Mm-hmm.
He starts cutting at this tree, and he's like mid forward stroke, and his blade sticks in the tree and snaps in half while his hand is still moving forward, and he totally just gashes his hand wide open. And I remember we both had our climbers. We had probably a 40-pound camera backpack. We had the hunter backpack, and we had a bow. We might have both had our bows out there with us. I can't remember. And Ron turns like pale white. And Ron's not a small dude. Like,
Right.
granted, I'm not a big dude, so I'm like, at the time, 5'8", 170 pounds maybe, and Ron was like 6'1", 6'2",
It might be 6'3",
and
yeah.
probably pushing 200 at the time, maybe a little
Mhm.
more. And Ron's going down. Like,
Oh, God.
I'm like, Ron's gonna frickin' pass out. So we wrapped his hand in something. I don't even remember what it was. And I've got a climber on my right shoulder, a climber on my left shoulder, the hunting backpack strapped on the front of my chest, bows in my hand, and I'm like, Ron, just walk as fast as you can walk to get back to the truck. And we're just trying to get out of the woods. Oh, it was miserable. But you made me think of that about cutting down trees. I forgot about that. He ended up getting some stitches and got all fixed up. But yeah, I'm notorious for cutting stuff. I
Yeah.
still cut stuff. Like, again, Probably one of the reasons I don't like to hunt public land because I don't get that option. Like it would drive me nuts to get in a tree in public land and
What's
be
hilarious
surrounded.
is, was it the first year or second year in Ohio when we were on Splitter Ridge? That big buck was at that creek.
Was that first year? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
It was a long time
first or
ago.
second year, but man, this super nice buck comes in, and Greg had seen him the day before, right?
I thought I saw him because he was way up on a.
So
He was up on a
We
ridge.
slipped down in.
Yep.
Gets us into the perfect spot, and I'm filming. This nice buck walks the creek edge, like walks in the creek, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and beautiful 20-yard chip shot of this, I don't know, 150 class buck.
Probably.
And I have it in frame perfect, and I'm like, shoot it. Why aren't you shooting this deer? Like, what are you
Like
doing?
20 yards away from us.
Give me the bow. Let me shoot.
Because as I'm looking at it, there's like this 8-inch like thick branch running all the way along this deer's body. So all I can see are 4 legs and then his head and this beautiful rack looking around, and I can't see any part of his body. And Steve's like, "Give me the bow."
Just hand it
Give
to
me the bow.
I will do it. I'll take your little kid's bow.
It's a 28-inch draw, okay?
I would have figured it out.
You're like, I can draw it without a release.
I think
It's
that-
fine.
I think that moment made you just be like, that's it. We're cutting the forest down.
But that was a perfect example, though, of hunting the edge, because that deer came out on the edge of the
Mhm.
cedar thicket
mm-hmm.
and was walking it the creek bottom. So yeah, I feel like over the past couple of years, that's kind of what I have taken away is these natural edges and obviously deer funnels. You know, if we got a spot where your big mature woods cuts down to 30, 40, 50 yards wide and it connects it to another big chunk of woods, at least during the rut,
Mm-hmm.
you should have bucks cruising through those spots, and hopefully they can lead to success. But like, if you think about your favorite stand, well, think about your favorite stand in Ohio. Steve has his own location in Ohio called Steve's Spot that nobody else gets to hunt until Steve tags out on
Hey,
it.
easy.
Yeah. So you think about your spot in Ohio, like why do we think that spot is so money? Because you tagged out in that spot like 4 years in a row.
It's a transition from it is kind of the field edge, but it's not. I mean, you're in the woods, but you're at the top of this ridge where bucks are cruising. They're looking for does right there. They come off that top. There's a creek that goes at the bottom of that valley, and then there's another field on the other side. So it's like and then they had put a power line through, so it's just this big thicket that goes through there. That's all just weeds, like over top of my head. I have to cut myself a path
And
every year to
That
get
turned
in there.
into like its own bedding area right there.
Right.
So let me
So-
ask you this. Because in Michigan, I feel like we don't have a ton of ridges, so this intrigues me. Which way does your ridge face? When you're sitting in your stand, you're looking down the ridge, right?
Mhm.
Which way does that face?
Got me thrown off here.
I think maybe west is in front of you.
Yeah.
So typically, if you think of
Yeah.
a west wind, the wind is blowing at you up the ridge, right?
Right.
So where do you see the most deer at? Are they in front of you on the lower to mid portion of the ridge, or do they try to stay above you on the high portion of the ridge?
That part, I've actually had both scenarios happen. And your transition that you talk about always made me question if I should go. There was like a shelf, like a cutoff shelf, like steeper than what you and
Yeah,
I
they
want to
weren't-
climb.
Yeah, they're not going to walk.
But it was real thick though.
Yep.
And I got skirted quite a few times where I saw a big buck come and walk that edge, down that transition, over to the other bedding. That's where Ron shot his big buck. Is I saw it walk that edge, and I said, "You need to hunt over here," and he wound up getting that. But I had in that particular spot, I had them walking that higher edge of the ridge, kind of up where I was.
That's interesting. I've been trying to figure that part of it out for a couple spots as far as how they want to walk that ridge. Do they want to walk the top of it so they can see more, or do they like
Right.
the protection of being down just a little bit? And I've listened to a ton of theories on it, but I just haven't seen it enough being a flatland Michigan hunter to really understand what the right answer is on that. But that deer was in one of those transition spots
Mm-hmm.
where it was super thick. That ridge, like you said,
Right.
is super thick, nasty bedding, and then they're hanging right on the edge of that. So
Right.
that does kind of add back into where my thought process is going with some of that. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting. If you think about it, think about your favorite spots and what makes it your favorite spot. See if you can actually come up with a reason,
Mm-hmm.
or if it's just, oh, because deer are always there. You know, why are they there? Is it the wind? Is it the terrain? Is it food? Is it, cover? And I think it kind of helps teach us a little something. But
Right. I originally picked the spot because Jay, when we were down there, said, "This is a pretty good area, but nobody hunts it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, I'm in."
and nobody
So-
hunts it because, like
It
we've
was-
said in previous podcasts, it's not easy to get to, but you and I are willing to work
Yeah.
to get where we want to be, and you have a hike to get in there
Oh,
every
man.
day. Like it's a workout to get to that spot, and then back out of it, or God forbid
We
you
had to
shoot
put-
a deer and
We
try
had
to
to put a
figure out.
section of a ladder stand in the creek to get me out of the other side. So I have to cross this creek every time, and I have to get a ladder to get up the other side.
Yeah,
Pretty crazy.
and that's a
This is a hike.
cool chunk of property, no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
With the ponds and the ridges and the fields, like that's a fun spot to hunt. It's not really like anything we have available to us in Michigan. So,
Yeah.
And of course, it's Steve's stand. So
Stay off of it.
I got to hunt it once after Steve tagged out, and I saw probably one of the biggest deer I think I've ever seen. I don't even know what it was. I think it might have been a legit 14 point. Walk right out of the thick stuff that you're talking about, and walked 50 yards up next to me, and I couldn't get a shot at it. And it's like, oh yeah, Steve's stand. This is great.
Oh, yeah, and you were mad because I didn't trim it enough.
Yeah, if you'd have trimmed some lanes. I got down that night, cut down like 8 trees. I was like, Steve's not even going to know what this place is when he comes here next year. So yeah, that was my thought. That was my thought this week.
That's cool.
What do you got?
Early in the season, I think that people don't talk about this topic enough, or even I don't really hear it much. But hunter success rate, talking archery success rate, right? I got to think it's 30% or below, probably.
For a whole season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As like,
Guys that have a tag that shoot something with archery equipment.
yeah.
Yeah. It might be lower than that. I don't know. Guess it depends what you're shooting. Are we just counting bucks? Or are we counting does, anything?
Yeah, anything,
Anything?
I guess. I mean,
It could be. I think we might be skewed on that because we've got a lot of buddies that are successful with a bow, I guess.
yeah.
And we've been fortunate enough to be successful. But yeah, maybe 30%.
But I think the things that aren't talked about are the practice that goes into it. We can dive into each one of these, but the practice that goes into it, the shot placement, but then the critical part is what do you do after you hit the deer?
Yeah.
So to me, my rule of thumb, once I shoot that deer, if I don't see it go down, I have a 2-hour minimum rule. Like I'm not even necessarily looking, you know what I mean? You always get tempted to go, I have to at least go look at the arrow.
I was going to say,
Like, you know what I
do you
mean?
go
So-
look at the arrow?
Usually I'll sit in the stand for 20, 30 minutes if I can.
Yeah.
Then I'll get down then I'll go look at the arrow, then I back out. Where I think a lot of hunters wind up pushing deer and losing deer after the shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny that it's so easy with archery to be like, I had the perfect shot. It was a heart shot all the way.
Right.
If you finally recover the deer, there's been a time where I thought I hit something good and I had hit it in the leg. You know what I mean? Like, got it in an artery, so that was great. But, you know.
Was that your Ohio buck?
No.
It was that one too.
That one I knew. That one I knew.
Shot him right square in the ass, but man, did he catch an artery.
Yeah, I got lucky a few times.
That deer didn't go far.
I just think that people...
I push it.
I think that they get down, they start tracking early, they keep pushing that deer, and then, you know, that wound can plug up real easy, and all of a sudden I've got no blood, you know?
Right. Do you shoot mechanicals or fixed blade? Oh man,
there's a question. Used to be mechanical, or used to be fixed blade back in the day, and that's all I did. I used to go with like muzzies or something, and then killed a lot of deer with them. And then I switched over to mechanical, just because in my opinion, they truly fly just like a field point. So my opinion on it is, yes, some of them have super wide cuts, some of them have 2 blades, some of them have 3 blades, whatever. But whatever you're using, the placement is key. So if you're most accurate with whatever you're most accurate with is what you should be going with. All of them will kill deer.
Well, they say a field point will kill a deer if you put it in the right place.
Right.
Right. But
Right.
I think obviously you're trying to generate a blood trail.
Right.
So that's where the cutting diameter becomes such a big issue. I did the opposite. I was all mechanical, and then I switched last year to the Iron Will fixed blades, which are crazy expensive, but when we switched over to the saddle hunting, I dropped the poundage on my bow quite a bit so I can get myself in goofier positions and still be able to draw while I'm in my tree saddle. So I dropped my poundage. So then I felt like I had to up the weight of my arrow to still try to get as much penetration as possible. And then I went to the fixed blades, and again with the idea that hopefully if I hit a bone or something, I can break through it and still cause some damage. So I went the opposite way. I've got fixed blades now, but you know, I think the key, no matter what, is what you're leaving for a hole at the entrance and a hole at the exit. Hopefully, if you get a pass through, is what's generating your blood trail for you. You could have a dead deer, but if it's not bleeding,
Right.
good luck trying to find it. Right. But what was your first part of it was preparation, right?
Yeah. Like, shoot your bow. Get out there and, like, you should be shooting, you know, take 5-10 minutes and just shoot 5 to 10 arrows or whatever you got to do. Shoot longer distances so that the 20-yard shot is just a little chip shot, you know, just those little things. But with me, I've had those years where it was busy. I didn't get to shoot as much as I normally do. And, you know, I'm not saying go to 3D shoots and shoot. Like, before kids, I was doing all that stuff. I had all the time in the world. But I've had those seasons where your confidence level's not where it should be. And believe me, it's a game changer when you walk into the woods, you get in your spot, you're in your stand, and you know anything within 40 yards of you is dead if you want it.
Yep.
Like, that's just a game changer. So having your own personal confidence level high before you even hit that woods it's unbelievable. Sam actually had me shooting more than I used to because I was trying to get him so that I was confident with him being able to take a bow out. And it was a couple years ago, again down in Ohio. But I was hunting a stand that was by a creek. Remember that hunt where it was like you guys were picking on me because I got into the woods late for the evening. And then I sat there. I was texting the group, and you guys were giving me all sorts of crap about you and Matt had got in the woods at like 1:00, and I didn't get in until 4, maybe.
God only knows what you were doing.
Anyways, I get into the woods. I get in my stand. I'm set. We always get up there and text each other, "Hey, I'm in. I'm set. I'm in. I'm set." You know, and they're giving me all this crap about, "Oh my gosh, you should have been here 2 hours ago. What are you doing? You just ruined your own hunt." And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And I'm kind of bummed out already. And then I'm texting Greg separately back and forth, and then next thing you know, Greg gets a text from that I sent out for the whole group that said buck down. So but the point of that is this deer comes out of this creek, pops up, and I was like, I wasn't prepared. You know, I'd been there 15, 20 minutes. So it turns and gives me probably the most severe quartering away shot that I've ever taken. And I pulled back, and I was like, 30 yards. That's 30 yards. Totally confident. Boom. Placed a sweet shot. Jay came over and Jay and Logan came and helped me recover it. And Jay was like, that's the best blood trail he's ever seen.
Yeah.
But typically, I wouldn't have, like, a 30-yard shot, 30 yards isn't like crazy, but it was a split moment. You don't have time. You have to take the shot now. And I was 100% confident when I took the shot.
Yep.
So that confidence leads to success in my book. So,
and I do the same thing. Like, I still don't think I'd shoot. I might take a 40-yard shot at a deer now. I think back in our prime when we were shooting constantly, like in your backyard.
Yeah, I get that.
My longest shot on camera, I think I shot a doe at 63 yards to say I did it, but that was ridiculous. I did kill her, but like I still will go out and shoot my bow at 50 yards in my backyard, knowing I'm not going to shoot that anymore. But you're right. Then when I step into 30, if I start at 30 and shoot, it's stressful.
Mm-hmm.
If I go back to 50 and shoot a couple arrows and then move back to 30, it feels like it's the easiest chip shot in the world. So I think it is a mental game. So that's a good piece of advice. And then, I mean, when we were shooting in your backyard all the time, we were not happy unless we were hitting like the size of a dime consistently. Right? Like we'd step back at 40 yards, and if you weren't hitting a dime on the target, it was a bad shot.
Right.
And we were really good bow shots at that point, but we also didn't have kids and a lot of other stuff going on too. So now you're right. Like it is in learning, I think learning how to shoot a bow out of a tree saddle was a different thing, because you think about, you stand in your backyard, you're standing upright, when you draw your bow back, everything's perfectly vertical to your body, and you're looking to make a shot, you're looking at the level on your sight. And now all of a sudden you're sitting in a tree saddle and your body's at an angle, but you still got to have your bow vertical to the ground. So you're looking more, I look more at my bubble on my level, I feel like, on my sight to make sure everything's squared up. But it's a different technique to learn how to do it. And if you don't practice that, when you do get into the heat of the moment, it's like your brain just gets thrown into a washing machine and starts spinning around, and next thing you know, you throw a horrible shot at a once in a lifetime opportunity, or at least a once in a season opportunity, and it's super freaking frustrating. So yeah, I think those are definite good points. How much you said you've been practicing a bunch right now because you've got the new release, right?
Yeah.
Did you get a new release, or are you still using?
I just ordered it.
But that one's Sam's, right? That's not, you're going to keep the old one.
I'm keeping, yeah. I
He's
bought
getting
Sam the new one because he's got
Right.
huge hands. So
Right. So yeah, I've been, and like you said, I don't have a ton of time, but if I can get out and shoot 10 arrows, I can
Yeah.
shoot 10 arrows. And if you really wanted to time it, probably 2.5 minutes
Right.
and go pull them out of the target and come put my bow back in the case. But it does
Right.
help just throwing 10 arrows downrange
Yep.
and calling it a day. So I think that is some good words of wisdom. All right, you ready for our question of the day?
Oh boy.
Nate D wrote in and said, "What is your favorite day of the year to hunt?"
Ooh.
And I think I know your answer, but I'm gonna see what you say.
Ooh. Wow. Okay. I have like a range, but so oh man, that's so tough. I've got probably I'm between the 9th and the 11th. Right there's my window of my favorite times. The 11th is super fun because that's my birthday, but it's also not so fun because it's my birthday and everybody's blowing my phone up that day.
Right. I remember sitting with you. You were you filming me, or I can't remember if I was filming you on your birthday one time, and it was so freaking annoying because I just kept hearing.
Yeah, I don't even have vibrate on my phone anymore.
I'm
It's
like,
just-
shut it off.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I think I'm really close to the same. For some reason I like the 5th to the 7th, so I'm just
Okay.
before you,
All right.
which is cool because we're going to be in Ohio this year
In that time,
for. Well,
Your time.
we won't be there for your
Your
time. We'll
time.
be there for my time. Usually we're there for your
we'll
time.
be at the tail end of mine. I think we come home at like the 9th. Or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So and that's funny too. I was thinking about that. Like back here at home, I'm setting all my tree stands up, thinking like, oh, during the rut, right? During the rut, deer are gonna do this, do this, and then what do? We pack it
leave.
up
We
at the
leave.
prime time, and we go down to Ohio for a week. And not that I'm complaining, because Ohio is a pretty sweet place to get a chance to hunt.
It is entertaining to me though, because the whole time we're down there, you're like, "Oh man, all this stuff's happening."
My
at home.
cameras are
My
going
cameras
off
are
and
going off. Facebook's going crazy with everybody in Michigan shooting all these.
Yeah, but we got better odds where we are, I think. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know, the 5th to the 7th. It's funny because I don't even know. Like looking at my wall, I can't even really remember exact dates on most of them.
Your big one was the 9th, I think.
Nope, my big one was November 12th because it was my brother's birthday. I
Ah,
do know that one. I know I got an opening day of gun. I know I've got a super late 2nd December rut. And then I've got 2 that I'm not positive about. They might have even been late October. Because I do like that. I like that seeking phase. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like October 25th really until, I don't know. I don't like the regular rut. Like, I don't
Yeah, I
like
get
when
it.
things get crazy and the deer start locking down and all that. Like, I love when we're hitting like as Drury's call it, the buck parade.
Yeah.
That's the magic
seeking.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So,
the smarter spot. I like the chaos. I like, oh my gosh, I'm just hearing him chase this doe, and then all of a sudden doe comes by me, and it's
that part's awesome. And you
Yeah.
get deer coming in from other properties and stuff that may not even typically be coming by your place. So I like the anticipation of the rut. I like the more calm chaos of the seeking phase, I guess. But yeah, so that was a good question. That's I think though most people probably tell you that first week or 2 in November is going to be,
I've had, yeah, that's
unless you're really into hunting late season over a food source, freezing your butt off. I mean, obviously there's lots of success to be had there too. It seems like on bucks when they get back to eating out in the field or whatever. But
I shot that 140, that 10 point in Ohio, I think on the 10th.
Yeah, with the one that we said you shot it it
Well,
right square in the ass.
No,
Oh.
no. That
Different.
was
Sorry,
that was our first trip
different
down there.
Different 10-point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this one we had trouble tracking it because it started snowing. Remember? It was
Oh yeah,
snowing
yeah,
out
the
of
one down
nowhere.
on the front field. Yeah. Yep. you have had some serious, and we're gonna cover Ohio. Like this is gonna be its own podcast at some point because Ohio is a pretty special place, I think, to us
Yeah.
in our
Yeah.
opportunities that we've had down there and how it all worked. I think it's a cool story for everybody. But you have been like a killing machine in Ohio.
It's been nice.
I go down and kill a deer like once every 3 or 4 years, and Ron's shot a couple, I think, in 10 years.
I think he's got 2
or 3, maybe 3.
maybe 3.
And then Steve's like pissed off if he's not tagged out on the 3rd day.
Whatever.
So, but yeah, that'll be its own story coming up. But we're getting into the heart of archery season here, and next week we'll be coming back at you. Next week's show may be myself with Matt down in Ohio. I'm headed
Cool.
down there, so I think we might set up the podcast down there and get Matt on the show and have him tell us about his hunting world down there in South Central Ohio. So in the meantime, like we said before with Nate D's question, if you want to shoot us a question, email us at theproviderspodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on Facebook or the new X at The Providers, or Instagram, PTP The Providers. If you want to watch us on YouTube like you probably are right now, that's awesome. If not, make sure you come give us a like on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and we will catch you guys next week.
See ya.
Yeah, well, the hard work